So it's Mark and Diane with Real Estate News and Views, and our year-to-date sales and our sales just keep getting worse, Mark.
Yeah, but the trend's been that way since what? March, February, we started to see some things reduce, right? We know the factors. There's just some uncertainty in the marketplace and the economy, and I think some buyers are holding back. We're still seeing some sales being done, but we're seeing them being done on properties that are priced for 2024, 25 market. Well, I always say 24, but whatever. I think that's important to really price the properties for the market that we're currently in. And yes, we're seeing inventory going up like it's out of control. I think there was over 100 listings in this area yesterday. I couldn't believe it when I checked out. Holy cow. Um, and then we're seeing the solds and the stuff that's priced good, still taking 2 or 3 weeks to sell. I think you said the average days on market was 28. We're seeing
Yeah,
that.
so I have that the average days on market is 28, and um the sales to list price ratio is still at 97%.
And it's been there, floating there between that and 98 for years, in a sense, last couple of years, right? That's typically what you see. And then we see we still see some different pricing in the marketplace. We just talked about one, a townhome being listed for 499 and it's 1,800 square feet. We know it's more than 499. Let's be honest, right?
Yeah,
So,
they're withholding offers till June 12th. They're looking for a bidding war, and they'll probably get one. I mean, it is a big townhouse, but I mean, they're expecting way, seven or over, I'm sure.
well, yeah, that's to me, that's a 720, maybe 750, but I think 750 is too high. But let's just give it that range for shits and giggles here. But that's it's not going to sell when we say it's going to sell over 490. We can't say it's going to get a bidding war. It's just to drive traffic, right?
Yes.
We're
When
not
you're when you're
$100,000.
yes, and when you're in a market like this where you're not people aren't getting showings and things aren't happening, a lot of people are trying this strategy to just get eyeballs on it, right?
Uh-huh. Okay. But they
And
only
we're gonna
that's the market that we're in. So
yeah.
we're going to go through the inventory levels in this video. So I want you to hang around for that. Going to break down the sales and price ranges to do, and then also look at percentages of what's selling, what's not selling. And I don't think there's any more tips. I think we talk about tips all the times about price points. I'm not going to get into that today.
Yeah.
Uh, but I will say, you know what? I think sellers should really take the time to really stand out from the competition because there is some competition out there today. And I think they need to be ready for it and to showcase your home much better than what the competition's currently doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and once we start going over these numbers, we're also going to tell you what's active in these ranges. So, how many listings are in that price range, which in most there's hundreds, right?
Yeah, there's some, right? And the trends haven't really changed, right? We still see the same things, the 5 to 6, 6 to 7 range, and there's some inventory, over 50% selling. That's the hottest range right now. And then as we kind of go down that pyramid, the inventory is still sitting in the higher ranges, still sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah.
It's
I'm going to share the numbers now, Mark. And while I do my little business here, you can do a shout out.
Yeah, so subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get more subscribers, so please subscribe to Dynam and my channel. We love doing the content. Also, we have in the top part of our description in the write-ups, home evaluation. Of course, it's not a 60-second one, so it takes some time. So we will need contact. And if buyers want to buy in Barrie and Simcoe County, click the link. We'd love to help you out. Okay,
There
let's
we
take.
go. So you ready, Mark? Our sales last May were 241.
Hmm?
And we are now at 184. So we are at a 24% drop.
Do you think the sales could be better if and let's talk price if the economy was in a better position because it's still not bad but it's not great with a
Hmm.
lot of fear and job losses and the Fed's left the rate the way it is more for inflationary things than anything I think. Do you think this market could pump out more sales or at comparable sales to last year?
I think maybe. I think they would be higher than what they are right now
Why?
because I think there's buyers out there, but the buyers are being very weary and do not want to overpay. There's a lot of nervousness and there's not a lot of consumer confidence, which totally, that wrecks our market. Real estate's based on consumer confidence, and we get a lot of comments of people thinking the market's still going to go down. So
I
they're
don't even.
terrified to overpay and pay
Yeah,
too much.
I know, and the comments are stupid. It's got to go down 50 more percent. Oh, jeez. I don't even respond to those comments because we're not going to see that.
No.
We're not going. It would take a catastrophe for the market to drop off like that. It just would. And I know we'll get some stupid comments. Oh, you guys know what you're talking about. Well, here's the numbers, but we see different things. We see what's going on in the market. We see what's selling, what's not selling. We know why things aren't selling. We still see prices going crazy. I saw a listing come up and I sent to a client on Kempenfeld Drive, which I love the street. Like it's a beautiful home. I'm not taking away from the home, but it's like 2.7 million. It's too high. It's
I
probably
know.
15% too high,
I know.
right? Great street. Checks a lot of the boxes off the client. Mark, how's the price? Ooh, kind of high, I think.
Well, I had a friend of mine send me a listing. His friend is listing in Barrie, and I won't say the street or anything. And he goes, she's not selling, she's not getting any showings. What's wrong? And I looked at it, it's in my neighborhood, 1.29. And it's fully dated. Everything is old, everything, like the flooring, and I said to him, like this is priced probably over, well, probably one, it's way over $100,000 overpriced. It is a big home. It is fully finished. It is in a great neighborhood, but it's dated. I said, this is crazy price too. Who thought, who priced this thing?
How many bigger homes have we seen in great neighborhoods? What's that one over on? We've talked about it before.
Crown something.
Turner, where they've tried. Hey, Fritchie Turner was a great property, right? Liked it, thought it was awesome, right? It didn't get what they expected, and they tried it for several months. I think it got 1,165,000 or something. That's the right price for the
Well,
property,
I sent him three comparables that sold under $1 million that were not way nicer.
right?
I
So,
said, like, I don't know what their agent's looking at, but so Mark, our actives are at 996. Now, when we checked a couple days ago, it was at 1,005.
yep, yep.
But at the very end of April, it was 996,
Okay.
which is, oh, and by the way, last May was the highest month of sales last year.
Spring market, that's when we see a lot of buying.
That was the biggest sales throughout the whole year was in May.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so last year we were at 714 at this time, so we're up 28% there.
It's a lot.
The average price, and we don't like the average price because it all depends what sells that month and
Yep,
it's all wonky. Um, was 781, we're at 743. Not a
yep,
huge drop anyway. But our year to date last year at this point was 1,007 and
yep,
we're only at 838 and so we're down 17%. So we're seeing a 14%, then 15, now 17.
yep, yep.
So our year to date is actually getting worse every month.
Yeah, and I think the next Bank of Canada is July 30th, I think. Maybe June. Anyway, I think it is July in July. Um, it's crazy, right? Because I think the fear is set in, and then the US had their jobs reports today for May, and they were exceeded expectations, right? We
Yep.
think we'd see a lot more impact. I think we're just feeling that the uncertainty of what's going on in the US is spilling more and more over to our economy. And it didn't help with Trump going 50 an extra 25% on steel and aluminum,
Yeah.
right? Like so there's just a lot of noise and chaos out there right now.
So do you want to see a breakdown in the numbers?
Yeah, I do.
So between 5 and 6, 34 active, which actually is a little bit more than we were seeing in that range, but still only six sales. And last year, 16 sales. So we're down 63%,
And in that
82%,
range, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
82% not selling.
Yeah, and could be the wrong inventory. We won't pull it up. You know what I mean? It's still a pretty cheap purchase price in for the community, right? Not a real good picture. Hey, if we seen more listings and they were say townhomes under six, yeah, we'd be selling a lot more. That's for sure. Than that.
Yeah. And most of these, like, let's be real, they're not in great areas that are in those price range.
Not, it's a really range.
Yeah.
Just doesn't
So
look
between six and seven, we have 134 active, which is quite a high number at that range. But we had 56 sales last year, 52, sorry, 56 this year, 52 last year. So we're actually up 7% in that range.
Yeah, it's still the hottest range. So when we look at the inventory, what, 50 some percent is selling, 50,
58 is not selling.
so 52% selling. Half of that range is turning over month, which we're not seeing that in other price ranges in this community, right?
No, not at all. And it's actually nice to see. It's the only price range that actually went up.
Yeah. And it's still an affordable range for the community, right?
Yeah. I mean, some people would say it's not affordable, but I mean, if you have two people with good jobs, good income,
Right.
it's an affordable range because
Well,
you only have to put 5% down, Mark. And a lot of people, so say you're buying at 600.
mhm,
I'm going to just do this. 5% is $30,000.
mhm.
So if you have two people, that would be $15,000 each.
Yep.
Now, a lot of companies you can put into RSPs and they're mandatory. You can use your RSPs towards a down payment.
Mhm, mhm.
So, like, I have a lot of new buyers that use that.
Oh, for sure. For
So,
sure.
$15,000 for two people isn't really crazy.
No, it's not. It's not crazy at all. And it's still
It's doable.
it's manageable, right? And
Yes.
we're still seeing some product in that range is again, we're in all ranges still being overinflated. So the
Yeah.
ones again we talk about the pricing and the pricing's got to be for today's marketplace. And that's
Hmm.
sells homes.
Now, this range is scary to me.
A lot of inventory in that range. That's the second or third month where that inventory is skyrocketed.
Yes. So between seven and eight, we usually don't see this huge amount.
Mhm,
We're at 179. It's the second highest inventory category.
mhm,
And we only had 41 sales.
mhm.
We had 49 last year, and that's a 16% drop. 77% are not selling.
Yep. Yep.
Now, the selling percentage mark is still the second best.
Yeah. Maybe we should do a course on this.
What do you mean?
I'm just being a smart ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that is kind of like even though the numbers look horrible, the percentage is still better than it nearly every other
Right. Next to this.
next
Again,
to the 6 to 7.
right, right, right. And it just follows its way down, right? And it's higher the price range, less the selling. No
Yes.
matter what. And even in a good market, right?
Yes. Now, this is the
Fine.
Barrie stats, and I want to tell people one thing. Our actives here are not the total actives over at the beginning that
Right,
we're talking about, like our inventory levels, because
on
we are doing freehold sales here,
right. Okay,
right? And when we look at the total numbers, that includes condos.
correct.
So this is just freehold sales, just for people to understand,
Yeah,
because when you add up these numbers, Mark, the inventory isn't 996,
right. Yep. Nope.
right? Because we're not including the condos in this.
Right.
Eight to 900, 150,
Yeah.
only 23 sales. 35 last year, down 34%.
Yep.
83% not selling.
You know what I'd say to a seller today? Someone that really is, someone watching this video for the first time must be shitting their pants, going, "Oh my God, the market's just in the shitter." But you know what? If you position yourself ahead of the competition and price it accordingly and do the right steps to make sure that it is presented and showcased well, you're gonna sell. You're gonna sell. Because like you said, there's buyers out there. We
There
see,
is.
we do, right? We see them.
Yeah. I
So
mean, I looked today in the solds and there's a couple that went over asking and they were like 699 went for 750.
yeah, they priced a little low, holding
Yeah.
off,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Right. So, but again, at the end of the day, that, and I saw that listing too, that's the right price for the prop. No one is overpaying. So I don't want to think, and there could be some confusion with that. Oh God, someone paid like 50 grand more than what it's. No, they priced it low. They
Yes.
really got market value.
Yes. It's a
Well,
strategy, right?
it is. Where people are overpaying, Diana, is I really don't believe, again, people are overpaying for this market. People, you know, are not overpaying for properties, say, bottom line. Can, and everybody will chime in, and I hope you do. Well, they should just wait 2 more years and they'll get it for 30% more. You don't know that any more than I know that, right? Let's be
No.
honest.
Well,
They don't know.
I actually commented on one of our comments that, if you know exactly what's going to happen
Please
in
tell
the
me.
market, you should be selling that knowledge because people would pay for it.
Yeah.
Because nobody knows what's going to happen, Mark. I mean, we've
No,
seen
no.
things, we've seen things change overnight where all of a sudden the lending rules change, the government opens this up, the government changes amortization. All of a sudden, you can go to 40 years, or you can, at one point, they went back to you could only do 25.
Mhm.
And now they're back up to 30. And I think some lenders might even be doing 35.
It's a big
Like,
one.
there's so many things that can affect what happens
Yeah. Yeah.
that there's no way you can know. It's not going to happen.
And this is not yes, it's a market, but it's not a commodity that we people sell every year or every month.
No.
They're there for, in Simcoe County, they're there for 14 years. That's what the numbers are telling us.
Yeah.
So they're not trading
No.
year by year by year. So just don't look. Ours is there, there's always going to be fluctuations in price.
Well,
Okay?
Mark, and let's
That's
be real. The
the
government
market.
The government runs CMHC, which insures mortgages under 20%. They want to make their money. Second of all, they want all these housing starts and all this new housing, and they're pushing housing, housing, housing. Well, if builders can't afford to build and it isn't viable for them to build and sell and make money, the builders are going to stop building. So, like, do you really think the government is going to allow that? They're not.
No.
They're not. Okay, 9 to 1 million, active 104, only 12 sales.
Yeah.
19 last year, we're down 37%, 88% not selling.
Yeah. Yeah. And the number gets greater as we go down over price points. And
Yep.
this is just
Well, it's still funny because the 6 to 7 and the 7 to 8 and the 8 to 9, like they're all still higher than that 9 to 1 million number. Like the inventory levels are still higher.
sure, but there's just some more demand at the cheaper price point, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is, right? When we're looking at the masses, and that's a sweet spot for Barrie, right?
Yeah.
That's the sweet spot for this community. Bottom line.
So over 1 million active, Mark, 189, only 16 sales,
Mhm.
down 38%, 92% not selling.
Yeah. And that's normal we've been seeing in that high range. Right?
Yeah, just so you know, when I was doing the percentage of not selling, I didn't have to change this one. It was the same last month.
Yeah. Yeah. And the inventory is probably in line too. So
Yeah.
just, you know, it's not all bad. And I know this numbers on our screen might point to that. And but I think the numbers could be better if if the properties were better priced. And we can't just say, "Oh, it's all fear." It's all fear. That's creeped into it. Yes, there is fear, but it's not.
Well,
It's not everything about the market.
I was checking out a listing yesterday, in Innisfil. It's a bungalow, and it's an active listing right now.
Oh,
They're
you went.
listed right now at 799.
Hmm?
They started last year in April
Hmm?
at 929.
You lost a whole year because your price wrong.
They've changed the price 3 or 4 times. They went down to 799 withheld offers. They fired the first agent. Now they have another agent, and they started at 849 again, and they just lowered to 799 again. But it's been a year.
Yeah, and we see that the odd time, right? What is that telling you?
They're not motivated.
What if they're not priced right? Right? We have a lot of inventory. The buyers today have a lot more choices today, right?
Yep.
And it's just, I'm sure people think we're a goddamn broken record when we talk about it, but it's not changing, and I don't think it's going to change this year. But when we
No.
see other provinces doing the same thing, and we talked about it last week in a video that we did in Vancouver, where Global News was interviewing some agents and going, "We're not taking listings. Why are you taking listings? Because the seller's expectation doesn't meet the market expectation, and we're not losing money anymore."
Mhm.
Right call to make. Get the pictures done. Again, depending on the property type, $1,500, 2,000. I don't know. So certain properties, time, you name it. It's a big process. And if and we've all been there. When you get an offer and it comes in and they go, "Sorry, it doesn't meet our expectation. We're not sending it back."
Mhm.
Have those conversations ahead of time. So,
Well, and the other thing too, like I was telling a listing appointment yesterday, like pictures sell houses. When you are going on the internet right now and you're looking in your price range, there's hundreds of houses, hundreds.
I'll understand.
So if I look at one, if I pick a house and I look at the first 3 or 4 pictures and they're horrible, I just go on to the next house.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like when there's that much to choose from,
Mhm.
I'm not wasting my time looking at 40 pictures. So how you're presented and how it looks in pictures and your presentation
Every
online, well, everybody lives on housesigmaandrealtor.ca.
Yeah, they do. They're not going away from that.
No, people don't, the open house situation and the way it was in the old days when the realtor actually, sent all the listings to somebody. I mean, we still send listings to people, Mark, but people are in it themselves. They're on it. They're into it.
They're watching it like a hawk, right? They're looking and they know the inventory better than they ever have because of those apps.
They know the sales. They know, yes, they know
Oh, no.
everything.
They know, oh, I've seen that property listed, at a higher price or a lower price. What's going on? Or, oh, now it's with the new rate. They know, right?
They
They're
know.
entrenched in that process more than ever before.
Yeah. So it's important that your pictures and your online presence look good because, to your iPhone pictures that drive you crazy,
Well, yes, because it's just a cheap way of doing it. It doesn't show the home property properly. It doesn't have the right angles to show it, right? Snap. We're not photographers, so
no, and normally when you take a picture and you upload it from your phone, because I have in the past where I got the photographer, we did everything, and then they changed something.
yeah,
You've probably had that too. And they say, "Oh, can you take a picture of this now? Because we changed it."
yeah.
It's very hard to get even though iPhone takes beautiful pictures, because they
Mhm,
do,
mhm.
it's hard to get it in the proper format.
It is.
When
It
you
is.
upload it, it doesn't look like full screen.
Mhm.
And
Doesn't.
you can tell it was taken with an
Yeah,
iPhone.
you can tell. That's the thing. So, you know, just listen to your agent, listen to their, and if they are giving you wrong numbers, we keep saying get three people to come into your home, which
Yeah.
is a thing to do. It's great practice, right? It
Yep.
just, the one that gives you the most information and knowledge about what's going on in the market, the pricing, and that that's the one you should go with, right?
And the honest one.
Well, we just hope they're all honest, but we know that's just not a true picture in our industry.
Well,
But
I think that a lot of the Toronto agents, and I'm not bashing them because I know some are very knowledgeable about our market. There are some that are.
yeah,
But some of the every time I see something price like totally whacked out, it's normally not an agent from around here.
uh, it's not. It's not. And the data's there. We got the data.
They can go on the Toronto Real Estate Board, same as us, and get all the sales and know what everything is.
100%. And
Hmm.
that's what people need to make good decisions on is what's the data telling us? Here's what the data is telling us.
Well, and the other thing I've noticed is I've had the issue when I was selling in Innisfil where he was trying to throw comparables from a neighborhood that's 50 years old and they're all siding and
Right.
to a new area that was like under 5 years old, all brick. Like that's
Yeah.
not a comparable, buddy.
Or it's just not. It's just not.
Not even close.
I think we wrap it up. I think it's good there to cut it off.
Yeah, perfect.
Hey, okay. Happy Friday.
Yes. Have a good weekend. Air show weekend.
Yeah, I know it's going to be busy. It's going to be nice weather. I got in the water for the first time today. It was pretty fun. So
Yep, it's getting nice.
it's getting nice. Okay.
See
See
ya.
you.